Calvento Files, Biyernes, alas 9 ng gabi.
Calvento Files was a weekly documentary show aired on ABS-CBN, hosted by the late Tony Calvento. It aired on Friday nights and was based on the People's Tonight column, which was also written by Calvento. The show featured dramatizations of various crimes, primarily murder, rape slay cases, disasters, and mysteries. Philippine television in the 1990s was known for its graphic and gruesome news coverage, and Calvento Files was no exception. While the show itself showcases disturbing dramatizations of real-life crimes, the show also became notorious for airing uncensored, gory crime scene photos. Archivist Undoes Fixation recalled witnessing a slideshow of an actual crime scene depicting a decomposing rape victim, fully uncensored. The show became so popular that it was eventually adapted into a film. In later years, Calvento Files was aired on Jeepney TV and even uploaded on YouTube, though the graphic scenes were omitted. However, these uploads were mysteriously taken down. Some episodes survived through Facebook re-uploads, but others, such as the episode about the ozone disco fire, remain lost. The uncensored versions of the show are also considered lost. However, on June 23, 2022, the Walter J. Brown Archives uploaded a full, never-before-seen episode of Calvento Files from 1997 titled Angels Housed in Hell, which tackled the subject of incest. Shake, Rattle, and Roll is a 1984 horror anthology film and the first installment in a series of 15 films. The movie became iconic and was restored in 2024 by ABS-CBN Film Restoration in time for its 40th anniversary. The film consists of 3 short stories: Baso, about teenagers who unwittingly unleash spirits using a spirit board; Manananggal, and Pridyider, which follows a refrigerator possessed by a serial rapist. Now, we are diving into Pridyider, which contains several lost scenes. Directed by Ishmael Bernal, the story revolves around the Delphin family: Lorna, her daughter Virgie, their housekeeper Nelia, and Lorna's depraved nephew Dodong move into a house with a deadly refrigerator linked to past murders. As it claims victims, including Nelia and Dodong, Detective Torres investigates and uncovers its dark history. Lorna ultimately saves her daughter by unplugging the fridge, ending the horror. While the widely known ending features Torres showing the family newspaper articles about the past crimes that happened in the house, this was not a true ending. According to eyewitnesses, in the original ending, after Torres explained the killer's curse, the Delphin family left the house. The next day, a new tenant moved in, unaware of the refrigerator's dark past. When she opened it, a hand suddenly emerged and strangled her. Another lost scene, as recalled by an eyewitness, involves Dodong harassing Virgie, which triggers the refrigerator's rampage. During the chaos, Virgie hits her head and loses consciousness, while the fridge kills Dodong. This explains why, in the following scene, Virgie is seen with bruises and scratches, being watched over by her mother, as Detective Torres later discovers Dodong's severe head in the fridge. ABS-CBN Film Restoration has stated that the final scene of Pridyider is missing from the surviving print. However, they have not addressed the missing scene featuring Dodong and Virgie. Eyewitnesses also recalled the ending airing on TV, particularly on GMA, suggesting that a recording of the broadcast might exist. However, the scene involving Dodong and Virgie was never aired on television and is possibly lost forever. The original 36mm raw stock is believed to be destroyed as Regal Entertainment, the film's producer, reportedly lacked storage space for it. It was said that the reels were sold to people who repurposed them into torotot for New Year's celebrations. Despite the 2024 restoration by ABS-CBN, Pridyider remains incomplete as two of its most iconic scenes are still lost to this day.
Life is a drama. Life is a comedy. Life is adventure. Action and fantasy.
Pinoy Thriller explored stories of mythical Filipino creatures, ghosts, and urban legends. It aired on IBC 13 in the late 1980s, likely running from 1987 to 1988, and became one of the most iconic horror TV series in Philippine television. It was known for its eerie intro, featuring a message recited by a young girl with echoing effects, and a chorus of restless souls in the background.
Ano nasa takbo bunga ng malikot na pag-isip, likha ng ng tao, o halos isang biktik ng kapapalakan. Ligayang may kalimutan, ngunit alam mo ang gagawin.
With its alleged one-year run, eyewitnesses remembered several memorable and iconic episodes of the show, one of which was Putol na Daliri, starring Ricky Davao, where his hand becomes possessed by a demon and kills people against his will. Desperate to stop the killings, he cuts off his hand, only to find himself becoming the next target. The series' alleged pilot episode featured a bald prisoner who was killed by Snooki Serna, but he came back to life. Another alleged episode featured Dante Varona as a man caught between his wife, played by Vivian Foss, and his mistress, played by Vivian Velez. Vivian Foss portrayed a ruthless mangkukulam, while Vivian Velez played a manananggal. Dante Varona frequently tried to stop their terrifying fights, but eventually, both women grew suspicious of why he remained completely unafraid despite their supernatural powers. The rivalry took a shocking turn when Dante Varona, in a fit of rage, revealed his own dark secret. He was actually a werewolf. Lastly, there was the Badaf Killer episode, starring Bernardo, where a gay man became a killer, brutally hacking men with an axe. Another unforgettable episode was about a man whose child fell ill because of a duende. The duende told him that to save his child, he had to saw a hollow block perfectly in half at exactly midnight. However, a madman suddenly startled him, causing him to fail the task, which led to his child's death. In his grief and rage, he killed the madman who had scared him. There was also an episode where a man discovered that his wife was having an affair, so he turned her lover into tocino and longanisa. Lastly, an episode starring Mary Walter, where she had a grandchild who was actually a young aswang that devoured lost visitors in their mansion. Alongside other episodes, such as the one featuring Robin Padilla on an episode about Mangkukulam, an episode where Raul Aragon played Lucifer, and Kamay ng Diablo starring Ronnie Ricketts. Many episodes have been mentioned over the years in the internet, but there is very little information available about them, aside from a simple description. Due to the success of Pinoy Thriller, GMA partnered with Regal Entertainment to produce Regal Shocker, which became equally iconic and leaned more into gore, thanks to the makeup effects by Cecilia Baun. Unfortunately, no full episodes of Pinoy Thriller are known to exist. However, a short excerpt was featured in IBC 13's 1988 station ID, which remains the only surviving footage available online. August 3, 2024, a Reddit post was posted on our Film Club PH stating if someone remembers the short film that the OP does. He stated that around 2010 to 2011, he remembered two creepy short films aired on TV. The first short film he remembered was about two young boys who were playing together when suddenly, one boy's father spotted them and appeared to scold his son. Afterward, while they were walking away, the other boy attempted to comfort his friend. However, the boy who was scolded suddenly had a recollection of everything his father had said and done to him, such as labeling him weak. Suddenly, the boy erupted and shouted, "Yo, bakla!" as he took a big stone and repeatedly struck it against his friend's face. The second short film he remembered consists of a couple, the bride and groom, as the groom starts a speech, reflecting on their sweetest memories. Then, in the final shot, everything shifts. The bride's lifeless body remains seated, headless. The groom stands beside her, gently cradling her severed head in his hands. The groom said the following along the lines of, "Akin ka na lang," or "Hindi ka na mawawala." However, other eyewitnesses recalled more details about the film, stating that it focused on domestic violence, with the bride being abused by the groom. In reality, it was the bride who severed the groom's head, contrary to the OP's initial recollection, which OP later corrected. Another eyewitness even remembered the groom's severed head being served on the table. It was stated that the short films were aired on a Sunday after MMK on ABS-CBN around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. 2 days later, as the Reddit post gained attention, and with it also being shared on Obscure and Lost Media Philippines, it was discovered that the two short films were part of a 2011 short film series titled Kinse, ANC's human rights film series under ABS-CBN. This series was a follow-up to their previous subject, Ambisyon 2010, which tackled the state of the nation in connection with the 2010 elections. Kinse consisted of 15 different short films, each directed by renowned filmmakers, portraying various aspects of human rights violations. It aired as a 6-part special on ANC starting May 23, 2011, and was also broadcast on ABS-CBN. The series was hosted by Angel Aquino, who also appeared in one of the films. The first short film in question was actually titled Intolerance, directed by Paulo Villaluna. It depicted two best friends, one of whom was struggling with his sexual orientation, and explored the consequences of homophobia. The second short film, titled Liham para kay Marco, was directed by Raymond Amonoy and starred Sue Prado. It is described as a battered wife's love letter to her lover and explored the consequences of domestic abuse. There are other known short films such as one starring Ann Curtis as an aspiring sexy star in Eric Mati's Nang Tumambad ang Hubad na Katotohanan. A camera version of Intolerance was found a few days later, while several teasers for other films can be found on YouTube. However, the remaining films, including the infamous Liham para kay Marco, remain lost to this day.
Those happy, loving puppets, with songs of love and songs of joy, essential time for every girl and boy. Love it, those happy, loving puppets, with true love stars of those who shine, to make a better world for you and I. Love it,
After the takeover of GMA Network by the triumvirate of Luvvets, Gozon, and Jimenez, the network was relaunched as GMA Radio Television Arts. Interestingly, during this period, GMA took on a more Christian character, largely influenced by the religious beliefs of two key figures in its leadership. Felipe Gozon was a Methodist Christian, while Menardo Jimenez was an evangelical Christian. This reflected on the network's programming choices at the time. One obscure children's program that aired on GMA in the early 1980s, possibly around 1983 to 1984, was The Luvvets. This puppet show was partially funded by GMA Network and was mainly produced by the Family International. The show also credited a producer known as Peter Puppet, who was responsible for its production. Ray Pineda was listed as a co-director. The Luvvets aired on weekends and featured an all-Filipino voice cast and puppeteers. It included a mix of gospel-oriented themes and general educational content, such as stories about historical figures like magician Harry Houdini, scientist Isaac Newton, and an English opera singer. While this show may seem innocent, the Family International, originally known as Children of God, is a religious cult founded in 1968 by David Burke. The group has been widely condemned for its controversial and criminal activities, including the systematic sexual abuse of children, exploitation of members, and promotion of radical beliefs. The cult was also influential in the Philippines, as some sources indicate that the Family International operated prison camps in the country. In the 1970s and 1980s, the Family International produced several educational programs for children as a means of spreading its message and recruiting new followers. One of them was Life with Grandpa, also a puppet show designed to teach children about the Family International's teachings. However, it contained disturbing undertones, reflecting the cult's exploitative and abusive ideology. Coincidentally, the Luvvets were credited as the producer of Life with Grandpa, and supposedly, the Luvvets were more popular than Life with Grandpa. While some footage of the Luvvets has resurfaced on YouTube, much of the series remains lost. Information about the show is scarce. I highly suggest watching Dick Crowley's video on Life with Grandpa and the Family International as he dives deeper into the cult's teachings and the show itself. Do you have insightful recollections of obscure or disturbing moments on TV, radio, or print? The Philippine Television Archives group is open for volunteers and contributors. On top of this, we have finally reached the 10K subscriber milestone. Keep subscribing to Everything VFVH, turn the notifications on for new uploads, and spread the word on uncovering old and new history of Philippine mass media. Your immense support is always appreciated. Until next time, thanks for watching.